Ancient Greek ruins are built on a strict, uncompromising algorithm. While they appear as weathered stone today, their construction was a rigorous exercise in engineering. The Parthenon represents the ultimate, intact expression of this mathematical obsession. Its monumental scale is achieved through the repetition of uniform, calculated units. This geometric overlay reveals the blueprint beneath the stone, governed by intersecting arcs and triangles. These mathematical formulas dictated structural proportions down to exact irrational numbers, using equations like the square root of pi minus 1 to establish component placement. This system of ratios is categorized into three primary frameworks: Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. An order functions as a proportional system, an operating system that dictates the building's scale, column thickness, and character from the foundation to the roof. To understand how this system operates, we will reverse engineer a Greek temple by building it from the ground up, component by component. Analyzing Western architecture requires viewing these buildings as applied mathematics rather than mere sculptures. The Greek temple was designed primarily for exterior viewing and civic presence. It functioned as a sculptural object for the city, not an enclosed space. The structure begins with the stylobate. This is the top step of the tiered platform that serves as the perfectly level floor on which the columns stand. This plan shows the cella, the central rectangular void housing the cult deity. Before entering, visitors pass through the pronaos, a transitional porch preparing them for the sacred center. Surrounding the entire structure is the peristyle, a continuous outer colonnade. The peristyle provided the necessary structural support for the heavy roof, while creating a rhythmic, balanced visual frame for the building. While the floor plan follows a simple stone footprint, the columns erected upon it introduce significant mathematical complexity. This arrangement created a physical gradient for the user, moving them from the public square to the highly restricted sacred interior. The Doric order is the oldest and simplest of these systems. It is characterized by massive proportions and a lack of decorative bases. As shown here, the Doric column has no base. The shaft rises directly from the stylobate, giving it a grounded appearance. Moving up, the shaft features 20 shallow vertical grooves called flutes, which catch the light to emphasize verticality and volume. To correct for human perception, the architects incorporated entasis, a slight outward curve engineered into the middle of the shaft. This correction counteracts the eye's tendency to perceive tall, perfectly straight columns as concave. By building an intentional bulge, the column appears perfectly straight to the viewer. The upper section, or entablature, features a frieze divided into alternating segments, the grooved triglyphs and the flat, often sculpted metatopes. These heavy, unyielding proportions symbolized strength and stability. The Doric algorithm prioritized visual solidity and load-bearing capacity. This emphasis on mathematical order and rationality reflected the core civic values of early Athenian society. The Ionic order represents a later evolution toward a more refined and delicate architectural system. This side-by-side comparison shows the slender Ionic column. Unlike the Doric, the Ionic sits on an elaborate base, isolating it from the floor. The shaft features deeper flutes, creating a graceful rhythm. Finally, its defining capital incorporates scroll-like volutes. In execution, these capitals allowed for deep carving and complex shadow play, as seen here on the Erechtheion. These refined proportions were often used for buildings honoring multiple deities, or for structures featuring delicate elements, like the caryatid female columns. By adjusting the mathematical algorithm of the order, architects could drastically alter the psychological impact of a building while maintaining its structural logic. When the strict geometric logic of a single temple is applied to an entire city, it transforms urban life. The Greek city-state, or polis, required a new physical organization to manage rapid growth. A predictable environment allowed the clear separation of public and private life necessary for democratic participation. This was achieved through the Hippodamian grid system, named after the 5th century urban planner Hippodamus of Miletus. His innovation discarded organic village layouts in favor of a strict rectilinear grid. Streets were arranged into organized city blocks at perpendicular intersections. This grid enabled functional zoning, separating the city into residential districts, the elevated sacred Acropolis, and the civic agora. The agora functioned as the central marketplace and the political heart of the Greek city. The agora was a massive open plaza, defined by stoas, long covered colonnades that lined its edges. This open central space provided the infrastructure for democracy, facilitating the daily commerce, passionate political debates, and social gatherings for civic life. Stoas provided shade and shelter for shops and public meetings, using a repetitive geometric rhythm to frame the massive public forum. This geometric scaling extended to theaters, which were carved directly into natural hillsides for structural support. The semicircular design utilized natural amplification and provided perfect sightlines for thousands of people, creating an egalitarian communal experience. Greek architecture provided a scalable, rational operating system that organized human life, from the proportions of a single column to the grid of the modern city.